I've had the incredible opportunity to review over 600 guitars and play even more in person. And today, we're gonna look at the guitars that I chose to add to my guitarsenal from those 600. Specifically, since the guitarsenal is pretty large, we're gonna focus on the Dreadnoughts that I chose, the stories behind them, and how they sound.
Right here is probably the most important guitar in my life. This was my father's guitar that I learned to play on. It's a little boy.
Acoustic Tuesday after Acoustic Tuesday, we see amazing guitarsenals submitted by our very own Acoustic Tuesday family. And those usually spark the question time and time again, without fail, Tone, what about your guitarsenal? What guitars are in your guitarsenal? Hey Tone, I heard you had an awesome guitar collection. What guitars are in there? Well, today, wonder no more. Specifically, we're gonna dig into the Dreadnoughts in my guitarsenal. Now, the reason I'm busting this up into chunks and categories is because my guitarsenal is maybe embarrassingly large. There's a lot of instruments in there, and I thought rather than sit through 30 plus instruments, maybe we'll just chunk it out into categories. This way we can focus on one specific type of instrument. And today, the instrument is the Dreadnought. So I sat down with 7 of my Dreadnoughts and shared stories about them, and more importantly, played them so you can hear how they sound. So let's go ahead and start cracking cases right now. The first Dreadnought of the 7 that are in my guitarsenal is a Santa Cruz Vintage Southerner. And this is the most different of all the Dreadnoughts in my collection because it is a shorter scale. And I actually favor fingerpicking with this particular guitar. It is lightly built, mahogany back and sides, spruce top, and it really is a great accompaniment instrument. The next Dreadnought in the lineup is a Bourgeois Country Boy Dreadnought, and this particular Dreadnought is a cannon. It's a complete bluegrass cannon, and beyond that, it has a really interesting story. We're looking at a standard Country Boy here, mahogany back and sides, Adirondack spruce top, but let's move to the story. This guitar was actually owned by Courtney Hartman during her time in Delamay, and it's been all around the world. And when it came up for sale at Eddie's Guitars in St. Louis, I decided I really want to be a part of this guitar's history. So it became part of my collection. This guitar that I'm holding is the Dreadnought that is the closest to my heart. It has an awesome story that I'll tell you, but first let's admire the guitar for what it is. It's a Martin D41 Special that sounds amazing and of course looks brilliant as well. Indian rosewood back and sides, Sitka spruce top, forward shifted bracing, makes it a really boomy guitar. But this guitar is actually my dad's. I initially sold it to him when I worked at the Old Town School of Folk Music in Chicago back in, I want to say 2008 maybe. And I was on a trip in Chicago and visiting my folks, and he actually said, hey, why don't you take that guitar back with you and play it? And it smells like my dad. It's got some wear on the sound hole that he put there, so it makes me feel close to my dad and something we can certainly bond over. This is a Taylor 717, the Grand Pacific model, a builder's edition that was initially sent to me for review, and it's just kind of stuck around the studio. It's the type of guitar that I was super excited to try and very quickly found a use for it in my guitarsenal because of its laser-like projection, which I think is a result from the V-class bracing and of course the torrefied Sitka spruce top and the Indian rosewood back and sides. It makes a great live jam companion because it really speaks quite loudly and quite directly. Whew, I'm feeling a little bit verklempt, all those nice guitars. I feel like it's getting maybe a little hot in here. I want to press pause just for a moment because this week on Acoustic Tuesday, we've already started digging into my guitar arsenal, and yes, we're gonna continue to do that. I've got 3 more Dreadnoughts on tap for you, plus a little bonus surprise. And you're gonna hear and see a stunner of a 12-fret guitar from the folks at Heartbreaker Guitars down in Vegas. Plus, you're gonna listen to a folk duo that I recently discovered on accident.
Every guitar I've ever acquired has been because I love the way it played and love the way it sounded. I don't think I've ever bought anything that didn't sound great to me, and this is a recent purchase of these are the rarest of the rare. This is a 1928 00045. They're called Pearl Top guitars. And
welcome to Acoustic Tuesday, episode number 149. This is the show where you're going to learn about acoustic guitar gear, discover acoustic artists, and get inspired to live your very best acoustic life. As with all episodes of Acoustic Tuesday, I'm going to share with you my Guitar Geek list for the week. But prior to diving into that, I figured I should ask you a Guitar Geek trivia question. Now, today's Guitar Geek trivia question does involve somewhat of a legendary guitar player, somewhat of a mythical guitar player indeed. Yes, Robert Johnson. Here's your question. How many recording sessions did Robert Johnson take part in? Was it A, 1, B, 2, C, 5, or D, 7? Go ahead and ponder that, and at the end of the show, I'll be sure to give you the answer. Now, I know we pressed pause on the Dreadnought portion of my guitar arsenal, and there's 3 more Dreadnoughts just waiting in the wings to be heard. But I figured, you know, since I've got your attention, I want to just slip in some banjos, because there are 3 banjos that make up my guitar arsenal, and I thought, you know, I gotta put the spotlight on the banjos every now and then. They deserve attention. They deserve our ears. So without further ado, let's jump into the banjos of my guitar arsenal. First up on the list is an Ohm Jubilee open back banjo. This is a 12-inch pot with a maple rim, mahogany neck, and is absolutely perfect for clawhammer and old-time style banjo. I actually got this banjo in 2007, right when my son was born. I didn't even know how to play banjo, but as an infant, what I would do is practice banjo next to his crib as he was going asleep. Ironically, he fell asleep to the banjo, and in turn, I learned how to play the banjo. Pretty cool story. Next up is an Ohm Juniper Bluegrass banjo. This banjo packs a ton of punch. It doesn't even have a metal tone ring. It's actually all wood, but it sounds so good. And me and this instrument have an interesting bond because when it first came into Music Villa in 2011, when I worked there, I actually wrote a review for this banjo for Banjo Newsletter. So I got to spend some time with it, and in that time, me and this banjo bonded, and well, I just had to take it home with me. Last up in the banjo department is a Chuck Lee open back fretless banjo. Chuck Lee makes some stunning instruments, and I do believe this is one of them. It has a sound that simply cannot be replicated. I heard Charlie Parr on an album playing a fretless banjo at some point and knew immediately I had to get my hands on whatever was making that tone. Lo and behold, I had a student at the time who had purchased a fretless banjo, this one, and he said, you know, I'm not really playing it all that much. Would you like to buy it? And I said, sure thing. And this became mine, and it actually ended up on an album of mine. Okay, so we took a mild detour through Banjo Land. Now, the thing is the only way to get to the far borders of Dreadnought City, you have to go through Banjo Land. So here we are, on the borders of Dreadnought City. And I've got 3 more stellar Dreadnoughts with some pretty interesting stories as well to share with you. Here they are. Next is a Taylor 517 Grand Pacific Builder's Edition. This guitar was actually sent alongside the 717, again, to the studio for review, and it just kind of started hanging around, and I started playing it more and more. It's so cool to hear the mahogany back and sides paired with the torrefied Sitka spruce top, and then again paired with the V-Class bracing. It makes for a unique voice, and it certainly stands out in the lineup. Well, because of the sunburst, but also because of the tone as well. This guitar, oh, this guitar. It's a Thompson DC-MA. It's got an Adirondack spruce top, Cuban mahogany back and sides, and this guitar was a result of 2 conversations that I had. This was back in 2018 at the Acoustic Live Festival. Matt Chalka from Eddie's Guitars was here, and I just very innocently asked Matt, hey, do you have any Thompson guitars in stock? And he's like, oh, we have this killer mahogany Dread in stock right now. And I thought I should take special mental note of that. And then Trey Hensley and Rob Ikes happened to be playing at the same festival, and I asked Trey, I said, hey Trey, have you ever played Thompson guitars? What's the scoop? Do you like them? And he's like, oh, they're killer. So between those 2 conversations, the one with Matt and the one with Trey, I triangulated my position as to having to own this guitar. Now I called Matt, got this guitar, and upon reception of this guitar, my mind was totally blown. You know that little emoji with the blown up head? That was me. This guitar has tons of horsepower, tons of clarity, and it's just a blast to play, not to mention super comfortable in the playability department. On to lucky number 7, my trusty old Martin HD35, the last Dreadnought in my guitarsenal. This guitar is fantastic. Sitka spruce top paired with 1/4-inch scallop bracing, 3-piece Indian rosewood back and sides. Just, like I said, a trusty old companion. This was the first real guitar that I purchased, and I was so proud of it. I am still so proud of it. I put it on layaway when I was working at the shop in Chicago, and that entire summer, 3 months worth of selling things on eBay, I was finally able to take it home. And it was really a great day. This guitar has served as a constant source of inspiration for me. And each little mark and ding on it really means something to me. It's a little thumb wear on the back of the neck, some dings and things on the top. It's been with me ever since my first gig, which was a square dance at the Old Town School of Folk Music. I've written tons of songs on it, and it really does still inspire me. It works great in alternate tunings, it works great in standard tunings, and it really offers this tone that's warm, woody, and everything you'd want out of a Dreadnought. So there are the Dreadnoughts of my guitarsenal. Well, the Dreadnoughts and the Banjos. I hope you enjoyed that little foray into my guitarsenal, and don't worry, there's going to be more forays into my guitarsenal. In fact, I think we're going to look at small bodies next, but those will come on a future episode of Acoustic Tuesday. Now, one special note, I have to say this. You know, I was very lucky to be able to work at Music Villa here in Bozeman from about 2010 on up through, I want to say 2016 or so, and then prior to that at the Old Town School of Folk Music. But I have to just pay a special debt of gratitude to the folks at Music Villa, Paul Decker, all the staff there. What a great opportunity for me personally to not only be able to have the chance to review all those guitars, but really make some of them a part of my own collection. I would certainly not have access to that many guitars if it weren't for Music Villa. So I just want to say a special thanks to the folks at Music Villa here in Bozeman. And if you find yourself ever anywhere near Bozeman, Montana, I would strongly recommend that as a guitar geek, it is your obligation to actually stop at Music Villa here in Bozeman, because it is a stunning store, not just for Montana. I'm talking about for the entire United States and really for the entire world. The staff is incredible. The stock is excellent. They have unique, rare, one-of-a-kind guitars, and the shop is just truly breathtaking. Now, to get a little bit of a glimpse inside the shop, I found a cool little promo video that I wanted to share with you all so that, well, you could learn about Music Villa here in Bozeman.
Music Villa in downtown Bozeman, Montana is a hub for musicians around the state. The legendary shop is a full-line independent dealer selling quality music products for everyone from beginner to professional and from hobbyist to collector. Named a top 100 dealer for several years running, the store has also gained notoriety worldwide for its web presence, including an active e-commerce store, clever social media and marketing, and 2 popular YouTube channels, including the Acoustic Letter, known for its acoustic guitar reviews and interviews, and the Music Villa channel with electric gear reviews and its very own reality web series, The Music Store. Whether shopping locally or looking for a trusted destination gear supplier, the team at Music Villa has you covered. Visit us downtown at 539 East Main or online at musicvilla.com.
As I mentioned before, I was able to review a ton of guitars while at Music Villa for their YouTube channel, The Acoustic Letter, which also has a great corresponding Instagram feed as well. Really stunning, stunning instruments. But it made me think, I'm like, oh, I want to share with the Acoustic Tuesday fam one of my very early reviews. Now, you're going to see a lot less tattoos here. You're going to see mildly shorter hair, a shorter beard, and, well, I just wasn't as comfortable on camera yet. Here's the review. Hi there, Tony Policastro, coming to you from musicvilla.com. Here we are in Bozeman, Montana, and it's a glorious day. And fortunately, I have a live studio audience here with me. Look at that. Isn't that something? That is just something. This is something special. Apparently, I only had one pair of pants, too, because that pair has a gaping hole in the knee. Interesting times, to say the least. But nonetheless, again, huge thanks to the folks at Music Villa for literally just being here and being an awesome, awesome store. Now, back to the guitarsenal. Before I get to the next guitar that I'm going to feature, which is not a part of my guitarsenal, although I really wish it could be, and I think you'll agree once you see it, you actually might want it for your guitarsenal. I want to know, in the guitars that I discussed in my guitarsenal so far, were there any standouts? Were there any surprises? Were there any favorites that you had? If so, let me know in the comments below. And also, I'm going to ask a huge favor of you. If there were any holes in the Dreadnought category of my guitarsenal, I'm not talking sound holes, if there was anything lacking in the Dreadnought department of my guitarsenal, you can let me know that in the comments below. These comments will serve me well in the future, because when Whitney asks why I'm getting another guitar, I could say, well, my Acoustic Tuesday family simply said I needed one. So yeah, please let me know if there's anything that I should have in my Dreadnought guitarsenal in the comments below. All right, now speaking of growing the guitarsenal, this next guitar I'm going to feature comes from the folks at Heartbreaker Guitars in Las Vegas. Now, again, I will underscore this is not my guitar currently, although I have had multiple dreams of this instrument as soon as I saw it, and I think you will as well. So let's kick it over to Brendan at Heartbreaker Guitars in Las Vegas for this beautiful Bourgeois.
Thanks, Tony. Hey, Acoustic Tuesday fans, welcome to the Heartbreaker of the Month. My name's Brendan, this is Toby the Beagle, and guys, Tony, oh my gosh, I have got a doozy for the Heartbreaker of the Month. Okay, Tony, Acoustic Tuesday fans, This is the Dana Bourgeois OMS in master grade koa. Okay guys, so this thing's koa all the way around, master grade. We've got the top, sides, back, mahogany neck, and looks like Waverly tuners. Okay guys, this Dana Bourgeois masterpiece is a 12 fret, 12 frets to the body. It's got a 25.5-inch scale length, and that's a 1 3/4-inch nut. Special thanks to my good friend Juan John on guitar. Great job, buddy. Tony, Acoustic Tuesday fans, thank you guys for watching the Heartbreaker of the Month. I'm Brendan. That's Toby. This is the Dana Bourgeois OMS Master Grade Koa 12 fret. Guys, thanks for watching. Tony, back to you, my friend.
Wow, what an absolute stunner of a guitar. I'm talking koa everywhere, and beautiful koa at that. I mean, just a pure breathtaking guitar. Simply, I have no words for it, which is why I'm going to ask you for your words. What do you think of that guitar? What do you think of that koa masterpiece? Let me know in the comments below. Is that a guitar you'd love to add to your guitarsenal? Too much koa? Too little koa? Let me know what you think about the 12 fret. Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you and your thoughts on that instrument. And of course, if you want to learn more about that instrument, the details on it, master photos, I'm talking beautiful photos of such a stunning instrument, head on over to heartbreakerguitars.com where you can see that guitar plus all of the other instruments in their inventory. Now, I should mention Juan John, the guitar player in that particular video. What a fantastic player. He's using a hybrid picking style, and he really has such command over the instrument. Makes the guitar sing, and I also noticed that Juan John's getting quite a tan now that it's summer. So cheers, Juan John. Great playing, man. Now let's hop in our time machine, close the doors on the DeLorean, program the buttons, press the go button. We're gonna head back to episode number 147, where we talked about 5 picking patterns that change the world. And we're gonna go ahead and dig into some of the comments left on that episode. Now, in that episode, we talked about the 5 picking patterns. We talked about Howland Guitars, which is actually in Livingston, Montana. And we also talked about Sean DeBurka, a great percussive fingerstyle artist. And our first comment actually comes from Howland Guitars. They just said this: wow, thanks for the love, Tony. And I just say, man, you are very, very welcome. Howland Guitars are incredible. In fact, if you follow Tony's Acoustic Challenge on Instagram, tack.guitar, if you're looking, there was an interesting exchange between Howland Guitars and myself on a post that he made. Tom Sands got involved. It was really funny. It was very guitar geeky. I encourage you to check that out if you do have the time. Our next comment comes from our other feature on that episode, Sean DeBurka, and he says this: hey Tony, thank you so much for having me as the featured artist. As a dedicated AT fan since early 2018, I've dreamt of being featured. What an honor. I'm so pleased you're enjoying the album. That's really great to hear. With 4 years of writing and 6 months of production, knowing you enjoy it enough to give it multiple spins makes all the hard work worthwhile. I also love that you're finding new things with every listen. I too spend a lot of time digging into new music and discovering all the little details. I really appreciate the kind words about my music and design. Thank you again. This made my day. Guitar Geeks Unite. Well, you are absolutely welcome, Sean, and thank you for making such incredible music. Our next comment comes from Laura Beth Makerspace, and she says this: "This is great. I've been playing for over 35 years, but never really dove into guitar geekdom. My finger-picked developed after learning Dust in the Wind when I was 11. It was good to watch this and see some of the roots of my own style. I like being original, but also love knowing how I connect to history and community." So cool, and thanks so much for the comment, Laura Beth. What a great sentiment there at the end. It's nice to be original, but also know how you connect to the history of a style, and of course the community of guitar geeks that are attached to it. And our final comment comes from Matthew Drell, and he says this in regards to picking styles. "So glad you went over this. I just finished the flat picking course and posted Billy in the low ground. Timing is perfect for cross picking and this show on picking. It's so interesting too because I just recently came to a realization of something as well. Don't know if this will help anyone, but every time I break a nail, I get discouraged because I can't finger pick until it grows back. But I just realized the other day that when I do break a nail, whether it's from yard work or something else, I can just work on my flat picking while waiting for it to grow back. It may seem silly, but it was a huge revelation to me that I can just work on another area of skill while waiting to get back to finger picking. Hope this helps. By the way, is there a way to strengthen your fingernails? Thanks for everything, Tony." Such a cool comment, because I actually have the same approach. Whenever I have a fingernail tragedy, I actually start focusing on flat picking and then wait for those fingernails to grow back so I can dig right back into finger picking. Now, to answer your question, Matthew, how do you strengthen your fingernails? That's a really good question, and I would love to hear and lean on the Guitar Geek community that watches the show to let me know what they think or what they do to strengthen their fingernails in the comments below. For me, I feel a little lucky because my fingernails are just really hard. They're really durable, they're strong. I pick with them all the time, and very seldom do they break. Now, with that, I do take pretty good care of them, almost obsessively. I file them at least once a week to keep the shape, make sure they're in good condition and they don't have any nicks or anything like that that could lead to a break down the road. And of course, whenever I do yard work, I do wear gloves. Whitney makes fun of me, but you know what? I gotta save my little fingernails, my little built-in guitar picks. But anyways, I want to thank everyone who participated in the comments section of that episode of Acoustic Tuesday, and of course for all the previous episodes of Acoustic Tuesday. It's so great to hear from you all, and just to be able to participate in that discussion and you know, partake. So thanks so much for that. Now I've got a little bit of a news update before we dig into a couple of really cool things. We got a guitarsenal from one of our very own Acoustic Tuesday viewers. We've got a guitar gratitude, again, from one of our very own Acoustic Tuesday viewers, plus a new artist that I want to share with you. But a couple of news updates. You know, we're talking about guitarsenals and things of the nature, and I thought I need to introduce you to a friend of mine. Jeremy Shepard. Now, that name might not ring a bell. You might know him better as Jeremy the Guitar Hunter. Jeremy the Guitar Hunter has a great YouTube channel, a great Instagram feed that's just full of tips and tricks on how to buy used instruments at a good price, how to resell instruments, and he kind of gets into, well, he gets into some of the guitar geeky details. And he actually made a video for us guitar geeks here on the Acoustic Tuesday show about 4 things you should look for when you're looking to buy a new guitar. So, without further ado, let me introduce you to Jeremy the Guitar Hunter.
Are you uninspired with the guitar that you have now? And does the prospect of trying to figure out which guitar you should get next seem daunting? If it does, here are 4 easy tricks that I use to help people find great guitars. I used to work in a vintage guitar shop, and I could spot people trying to figure out which guitars are right for them. They were overwhelmed by the noise. 8 people in a room playing acoustic guitars, no one's paying attention to each other. It's all just noodling white noise. But then there's this other component of looking at hundreds of guitars on the walls, not knowing which ones you should pay attention to, not knowing which ones are out of your budget. So here are 4 tricks that will help you figure out which is the right guitar for you. First, you need to figure out your budget. You need to lock down exactly where you want to be and how much you want to spend on a guitar. And don't worry, there are killer guitars at each price point. $500, $1,000, $2,000, wherever you fall, there are great guitars for you. Once you lock down your budget, the next question to ask is, are you a singer? Do you sing with your acoustic guitar? Because if you are a singer, you should aim towards guitars that are better aimed towards singers. So there are some guitars that are made to be as loud as possible. I bought a guitar from Huss & Dalton for $4,600 that was the wrong guitar for me, because I bought bought a red spruce top bluegrass Canon, and I am not a bluegrass guitar player. You need something that might be a little quieter, a little more restrained. The third question you need to ask yourself is what body size works best for you. There are tons of guitar brands, and it's easy to fall prey, to fall into one of those camps of thinking only Martin guitars are great or only Gibson guitars. The reality is you need to figure out body sizes first. Find what's most comfortable for you. Generally speaking, there are 5 body shapes in guitars. There's a single O, very small guitar, and then you get incrementally larger through a double O and a triple O, and then you arrive at the standard, which is a dreadnought, which is a fairly big guitar. Guitars, like their players, come in many shapes and many sizes. So play around, find the right body shape for you. And the last thing is you need to pay attention to the tone woods. Mahogany is the most common. It is a very gentle, flat kind of EQ, a little bit of mid push. It is a great pairing if you're a singer, if you're a songwriter. These are most common in the Martin D18 and the J45 from Gibson. The next tone wood is rosewood. Rosewood pumps up the bass in your guitar, and it's gonna add some shimmer to the high end. The third player in this space is maple. Maple is punchy, it is present, it is loud, but it doesn't sustain as much. I hope the next time you go into a guitar store, you keep these 4 things in mind and they help you find the right guitar. Know what your budget is, know whether or not you're a singer, know what the body size is, and keep in mind which tone woods are best for you. I hope these are helpful. I'll see you guys later. I'm Jeremy.
So a huge thanks to Jeremy, the guitar hunter. And as I mentioned before, if you are not aware of Jeremy yet, you should be, because he indeed is a mega guitar geek. So make sure to check out Jeremy, the guitar hunter on YouTube, as well as his Instagram feed as well. He's always posting such cool stories about interesting instruments that he found or is selling. And he just recently picked up a Husson Dalton mahogany dreadnought at a killer price. All the details are on his page, so make sure to check that out. I also have another quick news update. I'm actually adding to the guitarsenal. I know you haven't even seen the whole thing yet, but I'm having a guitar made for me, and I'm so excited to share with you each step of the way. I'm commissioning a guitar from Tom Sands in the UK, and I'm so excited to share it with you all. I wanted to keep all of you guitar geeks in the loop because it's a once-in-a-lifetime experience for me. It's something I've dreamt of doing for a very long time, and it's finally time, and wow, I just cannot wait. So that's all I know about it right now. We've talked a couple of times on the phone, shared some emails, and we're targeting in on some specs, but we're not quite there yet. But I just wanted to break the news to you because, well, I'm excited. And this is a very guitarsenal-centered episode. Speaking of that, I also want to thank, in the mailbag, I want to thank Acoustic Tuesday viewer Art A, my Chicago brother, for sending me this fantastic letter. Just saying hi, talking about hockey, talking about the Bulls. He's a basketball fan, I'm a hockey fan. We're both kind of in a sad way because our seasons are kind of like what's happening. He also sent me half a pack of his Monster grips so I could try those on some picks, which is really kind and very guitar geeky. And a huge thanks also for the revelation of Molly Tuttle, the revelation that is Molly Tuttle, I should say. Art hadn't really heard of her before. He listened to the Molly Tuttle episode, and now he's a huge Molly Tuttle fan. Aren't we all? Speaking of Acoustic Tuesday viewers, let's go ahead and dig into a guitarsenal from one of our very own Acoustic Tuesday watchers here. We've got a guitarsenal here that is really fun to watch and really fun to look at, I should say. And let me find it. I just goofed up my notes here. This guitarsenal comes from Larry W. And Larry has this. Now we're going from left to right here. He's not only included the model, but he's also included the name. Left to right, we've got an Art and Luthery Wild Cherry named Lydia. Lydia was the first guitar in the collection, a beginner guitar. In my lap, an Epiphone Hummingbird Pro, which has a solid spruce top, mahogany back and sides. That's the name of that guitar is Hannah. He saw this featured on Acoustic Tuesday, episode number 134. To his left is a Martin X Series GPC X2AE. Grand Performance Acoustic Electric, Sapelli top, Macassar back and sides, laminated birch neck. And to my far left is the newest member of my guitarsenal, a Recording King RPS 7 TS Dirty 30s series single O guitar. Tobacco Sunburst named Abigail that he saw featured on Acoustic Tuesday episode 143. The last 3 guitars of his were purchased in the last year, and now he says, I just need one more guitar. Well, Larry, we are all in the same boat as you, and I want to thank you for submitting your guitarsenal. Now, for those of you out there thinking, you know, there's a lot of guitarsenal festivities going on right now, I sure would like to submit my guitarsenal. You can certainly do that. Follow 3 simple steps. Step number 1, go to acoustictuesday.store. Once you go to acoustictuesday.store, you can pick out the guitarsenal t-shirt and have it shipped directly to your door. Once you receive that t-shirt, step number 2 comes in, where you take a picture with that guitarsenal shirt on amongst all of your guitars. And step number 3, go ahead and submit it at acousticlife.tv. There's a submit link in the top menu. Once you have that picture, you can upload it right there on acousticlife.tv. Share your story just like Larry did. And of course, I will share it with all of the guitar geeks on a future episode of Acoustic Tuesday. Now, I am certainly grateful for all of you guitar geeks. I'm certainly grateful that we get to have this discussion, embark on Acoustic Tuesday episodes Tuesday after Tuesday. And a fellow guitar geek here, Nick C., he's also grateful for the guitar. Here is his guitar gratitude.
I'm Nick. I grew up learning to play guitar in church, and I still play guitar in church as the pastor of a local church in Tennessee. I'm very grateful the guitar has been able to calm me down and give me something to focus on in the midst of the current crisis and climate, and I'm very grateful for the peace I feel playing some of my favorite tunes. Also, I'm really grateful for the community of musicians. Being a musician in my past has helped me really connect with people in ways that neither one of us expected. Musicians have been some of the most tolerant and chill and wonderful human beings I've been with. And I continue to tell stories from the pulpit about how we can be better people by being open and honest and affirming like the music community can often be. So I'm thankful for my guitar, I'm thankful for my musician friends, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity that they continue to give us.
I want to thank Nick C. for submitting his guitar gratitude. It's always uplifting to hear those. And one of the cool things about submitting your guitar gratitude is that not only does it help you feel good about your guitar journey, it actually inspires others as well. Because you know what? All of us guitar geeks are in this together. So here's what I want you to do. Please submit your guitar gratitude if you are so moved to do so. All you have to do is head to guitargratitude.com. Once you're there, you'll be prompted to record a video. You can do so right there on your computer, and it takes 60 seconds or less. And just share one thing, 1 or 2 things that you're grateful about, something that the guitar has brought into your life that you never saw coming, but is only there because the guitar. So please do that again at guitargratitude.com. All right, we're up on our last segment right here, and this is an artist that I actually found by accident. Every night when Whitney and I sit down for dinner, we pick an album to listen to. We listen to it front to back, and usually we do this on Spotify for convenience sake, although vinyl records I'm a big fan of those as well, nonetheless. So I thought that over the last couple weeks, Whitney and I had fell into a bit of a musical rut. Just as much as you can fall into a guitar rut, you can fall into kind of a music listening rut where you lean on the same thing time and time and time again. And I thought to myself, tonight's the night that I break the rut. Tonight is the night. I just thought of tonight there's gonna be a jailbreak. That's not the song we listen to. Anyways, so I thought to myself, tonight is the night that we're gonna break our musical listening rut. So I just went on Spotify, I look under recommended listening, I found an album cover that caught my eye and from a band that I had never heard before. And so I clicked on it. I clicked on Dogwood Tales, and I was so happy I did so. We were whisked away into a sonic bliss bath of sorts that really just made me so excited, and I couldn't wait to share Dogwood Tales with you. Dogwood Tales is made up of Benjamin Ryan and Kyle Grimm. They're the duo behind Dogwood Tales, and I have to say, when you listen to Dogwood Tales, you get flavors of Wilco, you get flavors of Mandolin Orange, you even get flavors of Mapache. And one of the things that really excites me about this duo is that you'd think, oh, 2 guitars, they might step on each other. That is far from what happens. In fact, a lot of times they use different chord voicings. A lot of times they're harmonizing together in such a beautiful way. I am so happy I found this band, this duo, and I'm so happy to share them with you. So first up on our listening for today, we've got Another Harvest Moon by Dogwood Tales.
and we run. Keep the stories of our fathers in our pockets as if they would save us now. And our guns are polished and ready for a war I heard was coming from the south. But it's a lie. There is no fight, just ever-growing distance in the night, and the space between where you lay your head and I lay mine.
So you have great complementary guitar work on both parts. You've got this beautiful harmony. Plus, I didn't even mention the lyrics. I think their writing talents are pretty incredible as well. And let's keep on the listening train here. Let's listen to the tune There Goes the Light, again by Dogwood Tales.
There goes that light that I've always known, burned out bright against the setting sun. Got so high she went and lost her soul. There goes that light. There goes that light. There goes that light.
And I have to share one more tune with you because I think these guys are the best thing since sliced bread. No joke. I really I'm digging their music so much. So let's listen to You Are a Blackbird again by Dogwood Tales.
You are leaving on the next bus at the Greyhound station. And after the storms pour down all your heart, burned down and washed it clean. And all that was meant renewed in a perfect bloom, you return.
So if just finding out about this duo wasn't awesome enough, I've got some awesome news for you, and it comes in the form of an album. In fact, let's look at some of the albums that are available from Dogwood Tales. Now, this first one that I'll feature was released in June 2017, and it's called KOA Split with Saw Black. Now, this album has an interesting backstory, and I have to read this. You can find this on Bandcamp. To the best of my knowledge, I don't know if it was ever physically reproduced. But anyways, here's the story behind it. This was recorded in a KOA cabin in Peru, Illinois on tour this past April. 2 songs written by Dogwood Tales and 2 written by Saw Black. We had just somehow opened up for a punk show in Chicago and were on our way to play house shows in Iowa. We met some interesting people, drank a little too much, and recorded a few songs together. This is unedited live audio from our cabin that night. All donations for this download will go directly to our gas tank on our current tour. Thanks and keep listening. Now, granted, this particular album was released in 2017, so this was some time ago when they were still on tour. But what a great listening experience, because it's kind of like feeling like you're there with them, just hanging out. So I would definitely recommend checking that out. And then released in February 2018, the very album that I clicked on to first listen to this fine duo, Too Hard to Tell, which is one of those albums you can just put on repeat because it is that good. It's such a beautiful album. And here comes the really excellent news. Just released on June 26th, Closest Thing to Heaven, which I haven't heard all the way through. I believe they've released 3 singles. I almost said signals. 3 singles up until this point. And since we're recording this actually prior to the album's release, it has just since been released at the time that this Acoustic Tuesday episode will air. I've listened to the singles and I am super, super excited for it. So there you have it, Dogwood Tales. To learn more about them and of course to see those performances in their entirety, you can head on over to acousticlife.tv/AT149. And I would strongly, strongly recommend listening to these guys. I don't want to say that it's sad music because it's not. It feels very uplifting, but it feels kind of contemplative in a way. And it's the music. It's the type of music that really pulls you in. You kind of become invested in the album the more songs you get under your belt. So cheers to the Dogwood Tales duo. Fantastic music from those two. All right, we are about to wrap up our Acoustic Tuesday episode number 149, but before we do so, let's go ahead and deliver your Guitar Geek trivia answer. Now, just in case you were curious and you were like, oh, what was that question again? I'll go ahead and reread the question for you so you know all the details. It involves Robert Johnson. How many recording sessions did Robert Johnson take part in? Was it A, 1, B2, C5, or D7? Well, if you answered B2, you're correct. As an itinerant performer who played mostly on street corners and juke joints and at Saturday night dances, Johnson had little commercial success or public recognition in his lifetime. He participated in only 2 recording sessions, one in San Antonio in 1936 and one in Dallas in 1937. Those produced 29 distinct songs with 13 surviving alternate takes. Recorded by famed Country Music Hall of Fame producer Don Law, these songs recorded at low fidelity in improvised studios were the totality of his recorded output. Most were released as 10-inch 78 RPM singles from 1937 to 1938, with a few released after his death. Other than these recordings, very little was known of him during his life outside of the small musical circuit in the Mississippi Delta where he spent most of his life. Much of his story has been reconstructed after his death by researchers. Now, this picture you're looking at right now is actually the cover of a new book that's coming out, and it's entitled Brother Robert, Growing Up with Robert Johnson. And I believe it was written by, I don't have the details here. It's literally a brand new book, and I want to say it was written by his sister or maybe a cousin. I don't know all the details. I just saw that not only was this new book out, and not only does it feature a new picture of Robert Johnson, it's probably the closest to a first-hand account that we'll get. I haven't had a chance to read it, but as a guitar geek, I felt obligated to share it with you, guitar geeks. So keep your eyes on the lookout for Brother Robert, Growing Up with Robert Johnson. A great summer read at that. I know it's on my list. All right, with that, let's conclude this Acoustic Tuesday episode. Episode number 149 is nearly in the books, but let's go ahead and take a sneak peek into next week. Next week on Acoustic Tuesday, we're going to look into the future of the acoustic guitar. In fact, I'm going to set up my crystal ball, and I'm going to do the tea leaf reading, and I'm going to do probably some palm reading as well. And I'm going to share with you the genre of music that I feel will end up being the future of the acoustic guitar, the instrument that we know and love. That's all going to happen next week on Acoustic Tuesday. Make sure to tune in. Remember, you can catch Acoustic Tuesday every single Tuesday at 10 a.m. Mountain Time here on YouTube. And of course, for your Acoustic Tuesday fix in between Tuesdays, just head on over to acousticlife.tv where you can do a deep dive in anything I've ever mentioned on the Acoustic Tuesday show. Thanks so much for joining me today. Thank you for being a guitar geek. And remember, Guitar Geeks Unite. Cheers.